And we are back to What Did AI Say at VickyL-4AI on YouTube. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the podcast. And as always, gratitude is the attitude. Let's go ahead and get started with Chatgpt, the American AI, and our question for today. How does a true caste system function? Caste, CASTE. A true caste system is a rigid and hereditary social hierarchy in which a person's social status, occupation, and relationships are determined at birth and remain fixed for life. It's not just a social custom, it's a deeply ingrained system that defines one's identity, duties, and rights within a society. Here's how a true caste system functions in practice. 1. Birth determines caste. A person's caste is inherited from their parents, usually the father's side. There is no mobility. You can't move up or down the hierarchy through effort, wealth, or marriage. Each caste is believed to have been divinely ordained or naturally fixed. 2. Hierarchical structure. Caste systems are stratified, meaning society is divided into ranked groups. In the traditional Indian system, for example, which is the most well known case, main Varna class, traditional role status. Brahmins, priests, scholars, teachers, highest. Kshatriyas, warriors, rulers, they're high. Vaishyas, merchants, landowners. Middle Shudras, laborers, service providers. Low Dalits, untouchables. Outcasts, handled impure, tasks outside the system. However, within each Varna were thousands of subcastes, jatis, tied to specific occupations, for example, potters, blacksmiths, barbers. 3. Occupational heredity. Each caste traditionally specialized in a particular occupation, for example, priest, soldier, weaver. A person was expected to follow the profession of their caste. No choice was permitted. Endogamy, marriage within caste. Marriage between castes was forbidden, called endogamy. Violating caste boundaries could lead to social ostracism or being declared outcast. Ritual purity and pollution. Higher castes were considered pure, while lower castes and certain tasks, for example, handling dead bodies, cleaning waste, were seen as polluting. Contact with impure people or things could require ritual cleansing. The belief system justified segregation in housing, water sources, temples, and social interaction. 6. Religious or ideological justification. Caste systems often claim divine origin. For instance, Hindu texts like the Rigveda describe society as emerging from the body of the god Purusha, with each Varna representing a part. Brahmins from the mouth, Kshatriyas from the arms, and etc. This created a cosmic legitimacy that made questioning caste boundaries seem like defying divine order. I do not subscribe to any belief system or religion that oppresses people. Doesn't matter the culture. 7. Social control and stability. By assigning everyone to a fixed role and duty, a dharma, the caste system minimized competition and rebellion. It provided a predictable social order but also entrenched inequality and limited freedom. 8. Enforcement mechanisms. Social sanctions, for example, shunning, excommunication, loss of ritual privileges, maintain discipline. Religious doctrine and community councils, panchayats, enforce rules. Over time, colonial law and modernization weakened but did not fully erase these structures. 9. Modern realities. True caste systems are rare today, but vestiges survive in parts of South Asia, for example, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, and in other societies with caste-like divisions, for example, feudal Japan's Eta and Henin, or Rwanda's Tutsi-Hutu system. Legal equality has not entirely erased social discrimination or endogamy patterns. In summary, a true caste system functions as a total social order governing who you are, what you can do, who you can marry, and how others treat you, from birth to death. It ensures stability through rigid hierarchy, but at the cost of personal freedom and equality. ChatGPT asks if you would like to compare a true caste system to a class system. We'll get into that. Let's move on. Oh, so you can do a deeper dive if you want to with ChatGPT. Let's move on to Deepseek. And just in case you forgot the question, how does a true caste system function? Of course, this is a complex and profound topic. A true or ideal caste system functions as a rigid, closed, and hierarchical form of social stratification, where a person's social status is determined by birth and is fixed for life. It's crucial to understand that no real world system perfectly matches the theoretical model, thank goodness. But the system historically practiced in South Asia, particularly in India, comes closest and serves as the primary example. Here is a breakdown of how a true caste system functions based on its core principles. The core principles, the pillars of the system. 1. Heredity, hereditary and ascriptive status. Your caste or jati is determined solely by the family you are born into. It is not earned, it is not chosen or changeable. Your social position, privileges, and limitations are assigned at birth. 2. Endogamy. Endogamy. Marriage and sexual relations are strictly restricted to members of one's own caste. This is the most critical mechanism for maintaining the system's purity and preventing the blurring of caste lines across generations. 3. Hierarchical gradation. Castes are ranked in a divine immutable hierarchy. Some castes are considered pure and superior, while others are polluted and inferior. There is no ambiguity about who is above and who is below. 4. Occupational fixation. Traditionally, each caste is associated with a specific hereditary occupation or trade. Your birth dictates your livelihood, whether you are a priest, warrior, farmer, artisan, or cleaner. 5. Rules of purity and pollution. This is the ideological and religious engine that drives the system. The hierarchy is maintained through elaborate rules governing physical contact, dining, and social interaction. Contact with a member of a lower caste, especially those associated with impure tasks like handling waste or dead animals, can cause ritual pollution for a member of a higher caste. This pollution requires ritual purification. These rules govern who can accept food or water from who can enter certain temples, who can draw water from the same well. How it functions in practice, the mechanics. Using the traditional Varna system and the reality of Jatis as a framework. The Varna framework. This is the broad fourfold theoretical hierarchy described in ancient Hindu texts. Brahmins, priests, teachers, and scholars. The purists, they're at the top. Kshatriyas, rulers, warriors, and administrators. Vaishyas, merchants, traders, and farmers. And Shudras, laborers and service providers. The Jati reality. The system people actually live by is based on Jati. These are the thousands of localized endogenous groups often tied to a specific region and occupation. For example, goldsmith, potters, farmers, barbers. Your day-to-day identity and social interactions are governed by your Jati. A person's life within the system functions as follows. At birth, your caste, social standing, and likely your future occupation are predetermined. Social life. Your friendships, social circles, and community are almost exclusively within your own caste. You live in a caste-based neighborhood. Marriage. Your life partner will be chosen by your family from within your jati. Intercaste marriage is a severe social taboo, often met with violence and ostracization. Economic life. You will inherit your family's traditional occupation. Economic mobility is severely limited. A Shudra, for example, could not become a priest, and an untouchable, a Dalit, could not own land. Religious life. Your access to temples, religious rites, and even the priests who perform them is determined by your caste. Those at the very bottom, the untouchables or Dalits, were historically barred from many religious spaces. Spatial and physical interaction. The rules of pollution dictate where you can live, which water sources you can use, and even how much physical proximity you must maintain from higher castes. Physical proximity. The role of the outcast, Dalits, untouchables. A true caste system functionally includes a group outside the formal hierarchy, often called untouchables, now known as Dalits in India. They are considered so ritually impure that their very presence and sometimes even their shadow is believed to cause pollution. They are forced to live on the outskirts of villages. They are relegated to the most polluting tasks: sanitation, handling dead animals, leather work, etc. They are denied access to public resources and temples used by other castes. Systemic enforcement and justification. Religious justifications. The system is often justified by religious doctrine. In Hinduism, the law of karma and the concept of dharma, duty, are used. Your birth into a specific caste is seen as a result of your actions in a past life. Faithfully performing your caste dharma in this life is your path to spiritual progress and a better rebirth. Social and economic enforcement. The system is enforced through social ostracism, economic boycotts, and public humiliation. If someone breaks the rules by marrying outside their caste or taking up a different occupation, they and their family can be completely shunned or expelled from the community, which in a traditional society is a fate worse than death. Violence. When other methods fail, violence and terror have been used historically and are still used today to enforce caste boundaries and subordination. In a nutshell, the function. The primary function of a true caste system is to create and maintain a divinely ordained, rigid social order that is immune to change. It ensures social stability by fixing everyone's place. It theoretically prevents social conflict and competition, division of labor. It guarantees that all necessary economic tasks are performed hereditarily, preservation of privilege. It secures the social, economic, and ritual privileges of the dominant caste in perpetuity. Modern context. It is vital to note that while the legal and formal structures of the caste system have been abolished in India, the Constitution bans discrimination and untouchability. Its social and cultural remnants are powerful and continue to affect millions of people, influencing marriage, social mobility, and political representation. A true caste system in its pure classical form does not legally exist anywhere today, but its legacy is very much alive. Woo! That was a mouthful. What does any of this have to do with our everyday lives? Um, just a reminder of something that we do not want, is what I think. Let's go ahead and move on to our saying for today. If you are sad, your mind is in the past. If you are anxious, your mind is in the future. If you are peaceful, still your mind is in the present. Live in the present. Thank you so very much. Peace.